The legend of Empire is that when Bangalore even shuts down, रात के 1 बजे तब भी Empire खुला होता है.
Sir,
सही बात है ना ये?
Yeah, of course. I wouldn't say a night brand, but we rule the night.
In 2015, I visited Bangalore for the first time, so my first stop was Empire.
Oh, wow.
And Junaid was hosting, and he made sure that I ate 3 days worth of food in one single sitting
wonderful,
after that.
wonderful.
So it was very, very nice.
So that's our hospitality from
Yes,
you.
absolutely. Thank you so much for making time to come
Absolute
here and
pleasure.
talk to
Thank
us, talk to me. And I'll tell you the background story of Empire and us. I don't know if you know. Empire was one of the first advertising clients that we had for Zomato back in the days, maybe like 13, 14, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think Junaid was there as CEO at
Yes,
that
he was
time.
with us for almost 20 years and he left in 2018.
And he worked with us for quite some time as well.
Yeah.
And Junaid's his like personality style. I remember Pankaj met him, and he said, "Yaar, I met this guy." He said, "मेरे को सारे बैनर चाहिए." Like, I don't want anyone else to be advertising on Zomato.
Absolutely,
Only then I will give you the ads.
One meeting I was there when I
Were
think somebody from Zomato came and I was sitting in juniors. I think I was just very young in the business at that time and probably learning from people like my father and Junaid at that time. So when I clearly remember, I was like, no, why are you giving it all these big guys? We are a very big brand here in Bangalore. So why are you not putting me on top? I want to stay on top. So how much is that? We will take that first. And he was like, sir, no, I'll have to get back to you. No, you sign now. I want it now. So that's how I remember the Zomato thing started with Empire.
Yeah. And 2015, I visited Bangalore for the first time. So my first stop was Empire.
Oh, wow.
And Junaid was hosting, and he made sure that I ate 3 days worth of food in one single sitting after that.
Wonderful.
So it was very, very nice.
So that's our hospitality from
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, the legend of Empire is that when Bangalore even shuts down, है ना, रात के 1 बजे तब भी Empire खुला होता है.
Sir, सही है. So
सही बात है ना ये?
Yeah, of course.
है ना?
Because I think we've I wouldn't say a night brand, but we rule the night. Post 1 a.m. or something, Empire comes alive in a way, and people don't plan to come to Empire. It's already decided कि भाई 1 बजे के बाद Empire ही जाना है.
That's the destination for
Absolutely.
Bangalore.
That is the destination on
Post
a
1,
weekend
yeah.
or even on a weekday. I think over time we've seen even a Monday is as banking as it used to be on a Saturday back in the day. So
Really?
the culture is changing. The way people look at things are changing. So even a Monday is busy. For us earlier, I remember my dad used to tell me, आप लोग Sunday weekly off मत लो, Monday के दिन leave ले लो. We used to be like, Monday के दिन दोस्त लोग नहीं रहेंगे. They'll all be working. So Monday used to be our off day, but that has changed. Yes.
So how old is the business? When did it start?
For today, I think it's our 59th year in the business.
59th
year in the business, yes. Started by my grandfather in the year 1966.
Bangalore must be a very small town, not even a city back then. I don't know.
I wouldn't say Bangalore was a city back then, but then yeah, I think we had a very small eatery. And at that time, we were just selling, I think, tea and some samosas and parotas and snacks like that. So what started as a dream, people ask me, why Empire in Bangalore? So my grandfather was a Malaysian citizen, though of Indian origin. He had restaurants there. And Bangalore being very close to Kerala, and we are from the northern part of Kerala. So North Kerala and Bangalore very close. So it's always been a dream for all these people to come and start a restaurant. And why a restaurant particularly? Everybody says, okay, why a restaurant? It's like all traders come down to this area called Majestic. So the city market Majestic is the trading area in Bangalore. And every restaurant that was owned by a Malayali was present in that area. And very funny thing is the names. And I think Malayalis are very good at naming stuff. So how did the name Empire come? There was a Empire movie theater in MG Road. So most of these restaurants back in the days took the inspiration from these theaters because theaters were the only landmarks and they were called talkies, not theater. So Empire Talkies, now Hotel Empire, yes.
I thought there was a vision to create an empire out of the small little shop.
Nice, sir. I think humble beginnings, and the idea was to give a great service, rather be hospitable with great food and great service. I think what started not as a dream, but then rather as a passion for my grandfather. And I think with my father coming into play, the second generation, the things turned around in a much better way, because Bangalore as a city grew. And though we were a pub cultured city, it ended up being an IT. So we are the Silicon Valley of Bangalore. So I think came 2001 is where it was a turning point for Empire as well. I think until then we were just two outlets. And from 2001, I think till today, we are operating close to about 45 outlets, inclusive of cloud kitchens and kiosks and other formats. So, yeah, I think we've come a long way. Yes.
What were the critical points in the journey, if you remember or you've heard of the stories that led to like the spikes in growth? Because growth is generally not a regular thing over the few decades, right? It must have been a few specific years or like a particular decade when like the business really grew.
If I clearly remember, when Dad came in, I think the late 70s, it was just an eatery, like I said, and there was nobody there. So with him to support him. So Granddad used to be still in Malaysia. When he came down, and I clearly remember he used to say, at those days, we only had about 30, 40 people visiting the restaurant. And it was a very a small place. And in time, as Bangalore grew, we started expanding the restaurant by itself. I think in the year 1991, we purchased that property. And it was a 3,600 square feet land area. So in that, the staff, everything was accommodated there. And when we purchased the property, Dad decided that we'll build a proper hotel. That was a dream. That was an absolute dream. He said, "No, there has to be a full-fledged restaurant. There has to be rooms and things like that." So in that property, I think we constructed the property in a very, very, very interesting way, because there was no other source of revenue. And we could not afford to shut the restaurant. So क्या किया हम लोग? आधा कर दिए. So we broke half of the building, constructed. When we broke the half, we moved the operations to this half. The kitchen was located on the third floor. But even then, one interesting thing, DP, is customers never complained or refrained from coming to the restaurant. Business still continued to grow. And I think it took us about 18 months to complete this. And when we completed in the year 1997, when we opened out, it was, I wouldn't say a world-class thing, but for us, I think as a child, we were like saying, wow, Empire has become so big. So we had 32 rooms. We had about 350 seats that extended up to 450. That's one of the largest restaurants in Bangalore city you can find. And until date, on a weekend, we have that 455 seats going full on a Saturday or a Sunday, especially at the lunchtime.
You still have that place?
Yes. And I think challenges were, yes, as the city was growing, as the business was growing, the people culture, from designing the menu, we added more and more dishes to the menu. And in the while, if you ask, who curated most of these dishes, I wouldn't say Dad alone, but there were a lot of skilled hands, magic hands that came forward. But they came in like a breeze, spent a couple of months, gave us something and they left. So it was like this. So a lot of these two managers, I don't remember their names, but one gentleman came in from Chennai. So he used to be working in these big 5-star hotels and all that. So they had a secret to these recipe in terms of bulk cooking. If he didn't know bulk cooking back then, sir, and we were using firewood and things like that. So he was the one who came and said, I think it's time you guys just to gas. Tawa ke niche aap log gas bana sakte ho. Your parotas can be done on the tawa. Start using proper kadais and, leave firewood. It's a lot of a hazard and things like that. So I think slow and steady in time. So the second outlet came after 34 years of operation. Then the third outlet onward, I think in 20 years, we added close to about 30, 40 outlets. So in a short, I think we played along with time, the trend that was available and the demand that was there. I think we could meet all of that because we were slow and steady. Dad always believed in one thing: slow and steady wins the race. And that slow and steady, sometimes, as young kids, we used to think, we need to get a little more aggressive. So at one point, that 15 years when Junaid was there, we were very aggressive in terms of growth. And sometimes, Dad used to always have his altercations. He was like, what are you doing? We're losing our quality. We're losing this. Then came the idea of centralized kitchen, 2009. So Dad was dead against it. He was dead against it. He's like, no, you're going to kill the quality. You're going to kill everything. But then we had to prove him wrong because the scale was getting larger. We didn't have skilled hands. So we called them masters rather than chefs. So we had only 6 or 7 masters left. Kaisa banenge ye sab? Then we took the idea of doing this. But then it came with tremendous challenges. It took us 2 years to recover from that shift. Because when we went about the central kitchen model, what were prepared at the restaurant from scratch started coming in as bases and, partially cooked and all that. So the people over there, they didn't know what to do. So it took us some time. Then we employed a few chefs from the industry who came and helped us turn around things. So it took us 2 years to win back that confidence. The people were literally abusing, like, why did you do the central kitchen, man? Don't. So dad was like, let us not open more branches. The quality has to remain. So it reminded me of the MBA story, जो समोसा का story था ना. So then he took some time. And I think came 2012, we were fully equipped with the centralized kitchen. The logistics plan was there. Supply chain management aa gaya. Vendor management got better. So there were better consistent products that was coming out. With that, then in 2015 onward, we started adding more and more outlets. So I think the challenges were there from central kitchen to home delivery. I think the biggest challenge was the shift or perspective of eating food changed is when people like you and Swiggy and all came on board. I still remember that year in 2018, where I think we were doing a turnover of close to about, I think, 1.5 crores for home delivery, online delivery at that time.
Talking monthly.
When Zomato started...
talking monthly.
No, I'm talking about that one whole year, when 2016 and 17, 2016, 15, 16, 17. I think when you guys came in 2018, if I'm not wrong. That 1 year, it was a 360% year-on-year growth on our online orders. So Zomato aa gaya, the competition and they get really aggressive. That was when the discounting started. It was crazy, that 18-19 period. Na? It was absolutely crazy. And I would see our people going like, uncle,
even we were all here
discount?
Like this only.
भाई इतना discount दे रहा है, तुम लोग negative balance sheet बना रहे हो, क्या चल रहा है? So yeah, I think we had to cope up with all of that. I think those are the challenges that we faced. And if I have to tell you, then once I took over in 2018, the biggest challenge was COVID. I think, it hit us like, what I wouldn't say, like it was like a meteor.
What was the scale of the business back in 2018?
We were 24 outlets.
24
outlets. I think we were doing a turnover of close to about 180 or 190 crores for that year. Yeah.
And COVID must have...
COVID, yeah, I think when the year 2020, we closed at around 220. And then 21 May, we came down to 170, 160 odd. So it was like almost a 50% drop.
Food delivery must have gone up dramatically at that time.
Sir, to be very honest, always very ever grateful to Swiggy and Zomato at that time, because you kept our kitchens running. We had some hope that the kitchens would be running and we could feed our people. So we were about 3,000 packs, 3,000 personnel at that time, and it was a crazy time. We literally had nowhere to look at. We didn't know what to do. Nobody was supporting financially. Banks did not support. It was a time of growth, and obviously all of us were burning a little bit of money at that time to stay relevant in the market and to hold on to that market share particularly. So yeah, I think it came with a bit of challenges in terms of COVID.
So did you have enough cash in the bank to go through this COVID time, or how did that go?
No, I think we were running a negative balance. I think we were running on overdraft facilities from the bank, and at the same time the regular business that was going on. So the bank was almost empty. We did not have any money for us to roll and pay out our salaries, vendors, and our rentals especially. So yeah, it came as it. Sorry, yeah.
And there was a large business, and somehow we got to that point.
No, could you come again? Large business?
We were a large business back
then.
We
were a large business. I think we were close to about 200 crores turnover.
COVID made the bank balances come down to...
Absolutely. So in that period, I think from 17 to 20 is where we were growing aggressively. We were adding about 4 or 5 outlets every year. And with that, yes, a lot of burning was happening. But then we didn't expect COVID to come and, hit us so strong. So yeah, I think I finally went to the family, spoke to my mom, and then we had to raise some funds within. The banks were not supporting. And how do we pay off our vendors, our landlords especially? Vendors, so we have a long-standing relationship. They were new landlords, they were old landlords. Some of them were very kind, gave us complete waive of like 2 months and 3 months. Some were like 50%. So I think, yeah, I had to go about to every landlord. I think every day I would meet 3 landlords for the next 6 months. And we were dealing with close to about 65 landlords, including us, staff accommodation outlets. सबके पास जाके भीख मांगता literally, sir, 25%, 50%, 30% दे दो. They were like, no, what will we do? That is my only source of income. Some complied, some did not support. And when, especially our staff, I think the biggest support and cooperation came from there. We did not have any salaries to pay. I think it was an unprecedented situation that, we never dreamt of. So literally, I used to be weeping every night thinking like, kya karna hai? Kahan se dena hai? How do we feed these guys? Where is the reputation? That time I really thought, I wish my dad was alive. But then वो क्या बोलते हैं ना, कुदरत का खेल है. So you had to pull up your socks and do something. And we were all brought up in a way that, we were taught to never give up. So with that, I think we pulled the team, got together, we sat, we brainstormed ki kya karna. I think the first thing we did was, what did we really lose is customers' confidence, people's trust. Not just us, I think across. So we had to reinstill that confidence and trust in people. It was like, kya kare? 2-2.5 महीने बाद when markets opened up, I think governments gave us 50% allocation for dining. So first things first, we built on an app or a tech background. Pe, we had a lot of IT guys sitting with us. And he said, no, we will do this contactless program. And we had kiosks set up outside our restaurants where people could come, give in their registration to get a table by themselves. So everything was contactless. Even the food was served on a tray, on a trolley, and it is kept right next to the table. The customers would pick up their own food and plates and everything. Everything was disposable, more or less. And we installed TV screens across all our restaurant where the kitchen was live. 24/7, the restaurant is open, the kitchen will be live and visible to the customers. And anytime I told my team, instructed my team, agar customer ko doubt hai, wo andar aana chahta hai, if he wants to have a look at the restaurant, don't say anything. We are not hiding or we don't do anything illegal. Let them view. I think, and then we also did a campaign with one of the influencers called Danish Seth, very popular in Bangalore. And he did a wonderful job, I think, giving us that, edge in reaching out to larger mass of people, telling them that Empire is very safe to come and dine or place an order online or sit at home. We will ensure it is taken care of. We've been following all the protocols and we've been campaigning and showing that heavily. That did help. We got about 10-12 lakh, almost 10 million views on that thing that he did. So that really helped. So I think nothing was more of a plan, but we strategized. Day in and day out, we strategized. We learned from the mistakes we did. And then we understood when a lot of lessons were taught when you have an empty pocket, empty stomach and a broken heart. I think every emotion was felt. Every emotion was felt. I think God willingly, we came out really strong. And to add up to that, I can say, what we took to achieve in 50 years or 52 years, we doubled it in 3.5 years. Yes. That is the greatest achievement I can say, if dad is watching, he'll be really proud. Or, the customers are really proud. The whole team is proud. And it was not just me alone. It was the whole team that did this together. Yeah.
And what's the scale right now? If you
scale?
don't mind, like revenue per day, revenue per month, revenue per
I think,
year.
I think I don't mind sharing it, but we've come a long way, DP. I think when I said, and dad came in the first in Bangalore, I think we were doing about 150 rupees or 200 rupees odd at that time. I think, and I remember my mom came, she got married in 1981. She used to tell me, when I came, it was about 600 rupees in turnover. I think today I can probably 600 rupees per day. Per day with that one outlet. I think today with 45 outlets, we are close to about a 1.75 crore.
Very nice.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
That's one of the largest businesses in the country.
Absolutely. And we're doing all of this out of one city. In Bangalore.
All out of one city. I think this obsession of some parts of the industry of wanting to be a national brand, it's not really the right thing to do. And I think you should really penetrate and serve your local customers really well, and then open the next city, and then you have to spread out.
Absolutely.
You can't move from Bangalore to Delhi, right?
No,
so it's
can't.
just
You can't.
The brand doesn't travel that far. The brand doesn't travel that far.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think why we've not taken that risk is, first things first, I think we understand that we are a regional brand. And I think across South India, we won hearts. And when you say the food of Empire is not very authentic to a certain cuisine or a certain place. The tagline itself says taste of Bangalore. So the kee rice or the butter chicken, you love Punjabi food, okay? But when you compare the butter chicken at Empire versus an authentic butter chicken, sir, zameen asman ka farak hai.
Different.
You will say, ye butter chicken hai. Sir, ye Empire ka butter chicken hai. Itna bol sakta. So I think we've evolved by creating our own unique taste, your own unique way of serving things, or winning people's hearts. So I think there is nothing very unique. So being a regional brand, taking this to a place like a Delhi or a Mumbai, I thought would never make sense, because people who are coming down, Bangalore has got every ethnicity possible. It's a very diverse population, and when the diverse population accept the food, nowadays बस सोच रहा हूँ कि जा सकते हैं, but still like time आएगा, we will do it. But I'm very sure that Karnataka being the home ground, I think we should cover the whole of the state first.
And maybe
And then
there is like 10x growth line just there for now, and
Absolutely.
then you can think of the next steps.
Aiming for 1,000 crore, I think Karnataka alone as a state would give me 1,000 crore. Yes,
Absolutely
easily.
possible.
And yes, guys like you, where 40% of my business is today with
Delivery.
online. Yes,
Very nice to hear that.
yes, 40%. I think we started off with 1.5%, and today Zomato holds a larger share at 22.23% in out of that 40. Yes.
Very cool. Super nice to hear that. Thank you
Yes.
so much for sharing that. And you said you doubled the business in the last 3.5 years. So you must have done something different, which was not being done so far over the last few decades, which led to that. And I'm sure like Zomato and Swiggy don't have that much to contribute to it. So I'm saying outside of that,
Yeah.
food delivery,
Yeah.
there has to be something you changed. Like what?
I think were very small things that we did, but it had a larger impact. I think first things first, at the time of this growth, when we were aggressive, we willingly ignored a lot of elements and aspects of business. I think the first and foremost was the people. When we were aggressively growing, we didn't care what kind of people were recruited, what kind of people was coming in and working in a restaurant. Background check, कुछ नहीं किए थे हम लोग. 2 बंदे चल के जा रहे हैं, बस काम चाहिए आ जाओ. That was the demand that we had at that time. So when everything came to a standstill, if we literally questioned ourselves, like, what are we not doing right? Because constantly there are complaints, and we had patrons who've been patronizing for the last 2 or 3 decades. We have grandfather coming with his grandson and eating, and we started getting some negative feedback from all of these people. And as I took over, it was a tough time for me because I was more of a spectator when I took over. I didn't do much. I just sat, watched what was happening, and then COVID gave me the opportunity to turn around things. So first things first, we touched upon people. When I say people, it's about the culture. So we had a culture which had deviated from the original dream or the vision that we had, because we had my dad was very particular when it comes to his people. He said people. So our second value itself stands like this. It says people before profit. Now, why would you say people before profit? Because it is the people who built this business. And I always tell others also, I'm not in the food business. We are in the people business, because food is probably just a medium of communication. You plate up something really nice, he's going to smile at you and come back to you. Something not nice, he's going to frown and say, bye. I'm not going to come back to the restaurant. So the people management, I think we went about touching that. I think we were 2,700. 2,000 left. We had to send them back because we didn't have any resource. So 700 was there. With that 700, I think myself, the team members, the leadership team, we are 6 of us in the leadership team. We went about speaking to not every individual, but as a group. And we started taking feedback from them. Kya ho raha hai? What can we change? So the culture system, we changed a little bit. Just as simple as, them greeting the customer was working. Say, good morning, good afternoon. Kya karenge? Aap kaise ho? Just that small change only brought that difference. And with the protocol system, we are ensuring the safety of our customers when it comes to COVID. And lastly was the food, of course. With the centralized kitchen, and we added a bit of technology and things like that, better processes we brought in at that time. That really helped. And today I can proudly say we've opened a facility. We're calling it the Center of Excellence. It's a 70,000 square feet facility. Half of it is ready today, and we have a dedicated butchery. We have a dedicated mise en place that is pre-processing for our vegetables. We have a dedicated hot kitchen where all these things are made in a way it's a set process. And state of the art, we're using the best of equipment that is there, the best of processes. Even the flooring is that PU coating where you have color coded stuff. A restaurant brand doing like this, it's something very unique. Probably a food company is doing this. So I've always been inspired by the Nestle's, by your Nando's and things like that. So now why the Center of Excellence is, we didn't want to just stay as a restaurant brand. We wanted to be a global food company. We have signature dishes which were created over time. So a kebab or a butter chicken or a coin paratha or a ghee rice. All these things can be taken onto a shelf in the form of a ready to eat or a ready to cook or a ready to use. So we thought we have a story to tell about 50, 60 years. What are we doing with that story? How are we winning people's hearts? And I know for a fact that opening restaurants across the globe is not an easy job. We are not a Starbucks or a McD that, itna sa menu hai, a standard operating protocol hai, kar sakte. No, we can't do that. Because I wouldn't say the system is complex, because it involves a lot of intricate elements, some complex element when it comes to food. A lot of pain and passion is involved. I know the people there will not be able to. So we thought, why not take it in the form of packaging? So we are on the verge of doing all of this probably in a year's time, where the merchandise will be out. Like, it's a very slow and steady. So we started this in January. Only the butchery part took me about 2.5 months to, ensure absolute control. So we know for a fact the Center of Excellence will take about 2 years to mature. When it matures, opening more outlets, I bol rahe Delhi, sir, even if I have to go to US, it is very easy, because we'll have a thermal process done in such a way that it stays fresh. It's not going to give you that synthetic retort kind of the technology is advanced. And I am working with a technocrat who's worked for the likes of your MTRs and Easterns and Everest, and he's also a mentor to me. So we worked with a lot of professionals in this turnaround, where people from strategy, from leadership, from economics, from finance, who gave us that help. And today, even till date, we are a completely traditionally homegrown company. We are not employing any professionals directly, but working with consultants. I think officially the first professional to come on board was our corporate HR, who joined us 6 months back. And we wanted that because HR is more of a statutory thing. But more than the statutory part, we want somebody to, enhance the people culture. So culture is very important. And, since I am my father's son, that culture value is very deep rooted in my system, because he ensured that people stayed happy, not the customers. His people stayed happy, the customers are obviously happy. And, I am also a very big fan of Sir Richard Branson. He always said this. He quotes saying, if you keep your employees happy, they keep your customers happy. So I have been inspired in many ways by many people. I think Richard Branson, Sir Ratan Tata is one of my greatest idols. And, the slow and steady more or less comes from there. Why slow and steady? Because I believe in building a valuable business. When I say valuable, it is not the valuation ki itna 1,000 crore nahi. What kind of a value have we created and delivered to the customers? That is the kind of business we want to be in. Are we winning hearts, or are we winning, banks' hearts? We don't want to do that. Like, the profit is there, business is going on. But the last 60 years, what have we really done? When you say you're from Empire, does it bring a smile on the person in front of you? Or it's like, Empire, no? Or they don't want to associate with you. So today, I think we've come a long way. It's not just because only by changing that people culture, the mindset of people, the perception of people, they understood they are also working for a brand that has been there forever, and it is going to be there forever. So today, I can proudly say our attrition rates have come down from probably 18% to just 6%. And how are we doing that? Simple. It is just simple things by, being more hospitable to our people first, then to our customers. When they come on board, like, do they have a proper place to sleep? With that proper place to sleep, we even hand out to them a general kit, which consists of a mattress, a blanket, a pillow, and a toilet kit. And the toilet kit, once it's done, he can always buy it at a subsidized rate, like your army canteens. So you want a toothpaste is 50 rupees, we'll give it to you for 30 rupees. So we want to ensure that these guys, most of them are backward communities, people coming from the Northeast. Today, locals don't want to work, and we are dependent on them. We want to ensure that they have a nice life. Some people don't know how to even hold a toothbrush. So we teach them. So we have a staff room committee where they even taught to sit on a WC. Some people don't know how to squat. So why are we investing so much in our people? Because it is people business, and we need them to be there. Without them, we are nothing. So I think our business is more of people oriented, but in time we are making it more system oriented, but driven by people. Yes.
Interesting. And how do you hire? Is there a selection process, or do you believe more in, okay, do log ja rahe hain, I will get both of them, but I will train them to be a part of my culture? What philosophy?
We always chose the latter.
Okay.
There is a dedicated way of hiring, and since the HR has come, wo kar raha hai. But until then, the funny story, हम लोग क्या करते थे, 2 tempo traveler लेके we used to go to the city railway station. There used to be a seasonal thing where बंदे आते थे. There were lot of hundreds of people coming in looking for jobs, and we used to have all of these guys. They'll say, sir, उधर से 100 लोग निकले. We'll go with 2 tempo travelers out of the station. Our HR team, a lot of these boys will go, it's like, come, and they all come in groups. एक बंदा 2 बंदे नहीं आते, सब लोग groups में आते. Take them straight to the office. 3 दिन लगता है बस KYB करने के लिए, KYC करने के लिए. जो नहीं है, we'll send them. And in that 100, let's say we've taken 50, only 10 will be left, sir. Why? Because एक बंदा आएगा, वो बोला, no, this is not happening, this is not what I wanted to do. When he walks out, 10 people with him are working. One fine day, we wake up, this restaurant does not have staff. We see the manager is mopping the floor. Sir, koi cleaning ke liye nahi. Show has to go on. So I think and then we start keeping buffer stock of people, literally of people. Each outlet would have about 10, 12 members more. But that came to a point, they start costing us more. And they're like, no, we have to scrap this plan. So post-COVID, I think all that started getting more seamless and streamlined because we had that time to plan. Earlier, क्या था, अभी इतना जगह है, क्या घुसा सकते हैं उधर? Can we put one more table there? So it was not planned, and we had a very positive and negative flow. Then we focus on bringing everything very positive, like slow and steady. Let us be cultured, let us be organized. I think the outcome will be better. With all of that, I think we have not increased prices in a very long time. Yaar, key rice that cost 91 rupees is been 91 since 2015. एक रुपया नहीं बढ़ा है. I think by now the ghee rice should have costed 200 rupees with the inflation that is going on. But how are we able to sustain all of that? Processes, methods. Today, if I'm doing a 38% of food cost, I was surprised to know that some vegetarian hotels have 45 and 50%. I was like, wow. So I still have another scope for 4%. So we can bring it down to 30%, beat the likes of Domino's and other guys. And we will do it. Only with systems, process and technology we should be able to do it. I know with the new facility coming in, we could save 3.5% only on our yield on the poultry. Earlier we used to have a yield of 90 to 93%. Today we yield of 96 to 97%. Why? Vendor management type kar de unka bhi. There are more rejects than what we receive. The vendor is like, sir, kya ho raha hai? Why all of a sudden? It's like, we've improved. We've improvised. With that, we want you also to grow with us. So till date, we have vendors. The egg vendor is close to about 32 years old. The vegetable vendor, I think third generation, just like me. I'm dealing with them. It's more of relationship than a business that we built. Yeah.
And these vendors have been there with you forever, I'm assuming then.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
I hope we also continue to work with you forever.
Of course, sir. I think
it's a very fresh
because
new relationship with you.
We believe in maintaining those relationships because when it comes to food, everything is very sincere. The love for food has always been sincere. So when you love the food, obviously you love the brand. And just like Empire, for me as a child, I have many brands that I go to in Bangalore. Ice cream brand, idhar hi jaunga. For to eat steaks, I will only go here. To eat vegetarian, I will only go there. And that culture, the tradition continues. And Empire is more or less a tradition, a habit. We call ourselves to be a daily nutritious brand. I wouldn't say nutritious, but daily brand. There's nothing nutritious about it. It's more fun. It is more enjoyable. But yes, we have grilled chicken and tandoori chicken, which is very nutritious. It's very healthy. We sell more grilled chicken than tandoori chicken. We have bodybuilders come and buy only grilled chicken. And not since now, sir. The last 10 years, we have regular customers buying only the grilled chicken. They don't eat anything else. So, I think, there's a lot if I have to talk, DP. There's so much I can talk,
Absolutely. And what are the couple of things that you wish you should have done in the past, but you haven't been able to so far? Kuch fulfilled dreams, wishes.
To be very honest, I never thought that way. No regrets. I faced whatever was in front of me because, ye karna tha, wo karna. There are something, when you're a part of
things
family
like
business.
I would answer ki acha yaar, culture ki baat kare, right? So I would answer, I think I could have probably done better on culture. That's what I would say.
And I think today we have a great culture. I wouldn't want to go because yes, in beach mein wo hua tha and it was not intentional. See, whatever we did, whatever mistakes we made, it was not intentional because it was part of the growth strategy where we thought this isn't more important right now, but this is. So the prioritization was not done in the right way because again, it is due to non-exposure, not having professionals working with you. Most of it, the decisions are happening by your intuition or your gut.
I'm not asking this question from a place of regret. I'm asking this from a place of learning.
Yeah. Of course, I think in terms of learning, I think we could have done things differently. One thing on the culture part would be, yes, the orientation program and induction that we do. Because when I was back in college in hotel management, when we used to go for our training, that orientation and induction just for 2 months used to take 2 days. I was like, these guys come and work for years for them. We were not even giving them 20 minutes of induction or orientation. So with that, I think though we could have done this 6-7 years or 10 years ago, I'm doing it now. So there's a proper induction program, there's a proper orientation program which is done by the HR team where they speak about who the founder is. Because I remember I told the HR, like when I went to Lalit for my training in my second year of hotel management, that HR gave us a full history of Lalit. I said, "Bhai, kisko chahiye 2 mahine ke liye? I'm not even going to come back here. I'm just waiting for my training certificate and I'm out." But then they took the effort of doing it. Why it matters? Because tomorrow a customer or a guest is asking you, "Who's the owner of Lalit?" You'll be like, "Sir, can I get back to you?" We don't want to do that. So we started doing that. From that, like we show my grandfather's photograph, my dad's photograph, then the current management, the promoter shareholding that is there, then the leadership team. So when you walk into a restaurant, they need to recognize you. Or they'll just treat you like somebody else. And we go, I sometimes, like you did your delivery, sometimes I go in a disguise, not in a proper disguise, but sometimes they don't recognize. And then that happens, we do a mystery audit. Today I can't do a mystery audit, but there are people who are doing mystery audits. So I get my intelligence reports in a way that what these guys are reporting versus what the ground reality is. So just to give you an example, I think 4 days ago, I was just for the April, we were just taking some data, very interesting data where I was understanding how chicken biryani and ghee rice functions across. So we took 3 tabs. There's dine-in, takeaway, and home delivery. I saw ghee rice dine-in 60%, only for lunchtime on a Sunday I was talking about. Ghee rice 60% on offline, 20% online, and 20% takeaway. Biryani, very, very interesting. See the ulta. Online 60%. So nobody wants to eat a biryani in the restaurant. Why? Biryani so I was trying to analyze ki kya ho raha hai. Biryani always tastes better when it is kept, eaten the next day. Ghee rice tastes best when it's hot with that curry and that kebab. So the ghee rice online is very low. So these kind of insights is giving us, it makes me so happy. So today investing in an ERP, in a manufacturing enterprise solution, in recipe management, one of the best POs that we have, it is giving us so much data. And I feel like a child because all these years we never focused on data. But we did have a lot of data. Today data is gold. And there is so much of data flowing in. And we took inspiration from people like the online platforms where you looked at the minutest data to understand, that would have made a big difference. We started looking at things like that. So these biryani, and then we understood, I went back with TK. In these 2 hours, this particular outlet sold 100 biryanis. But then the same outlet had 3 complaints. So I could go back and I was like, and what were the complaints? It was not on the food. I was surprised, like, khane mein to koi problem nahi. Because in 2 hours, you're selling so many biryanis, it has to be hot. How can it go stale or go bad or something? Service theek nahi tha. Raita nahi thi. He took a lot of time to give. So one way I was like, wow, I'm happy that the biryani tasted well. Service has to improve. There's a lot that we have to do on the service. So these things, these small advancements or investments that we have made is giving us a huge return. Simple as data. This simple thing in my team or sous chefs were like, "Sir, how did you know all of this?" That is the beauty of data, the beauty of technology. So it is helping us do all of this. Please go back and address this in a way that your service gets better. I'm not blaming the system because fault was ours. We did not give the right kind of training or orientation. But now, with learning and development being there, they're taking the approach rather very slowly. We don't want to burden because these guys, some people don't know what education is all about. They don't understand the meaning of service. We need to teach them. And identifying the right people for the right job is always key. Today, we have so many people, some of them are caged. In Easy Bites, we had a captain who's had 12 years of experience working in Popeyes in Kuwait. So I asked my team, I was like, "Oh, why is he there?" He's like, "Sir, I myself didn't know. He did not disclose." So I called him. "What did you do, sir?" "I was in Kuwait working for Popeyes. I was the area manager." I asked him a couple of questions technically. He answered. So, "Do you have your this one, sir?" I think. So he came with a list of improvements that can be done in Easy Bites on that same bloody day. He was wearing a coat and a tie for a thing. Next day, he got into a t-shirt. Today, he's handling our new product development for Easy Bites. So I think the learning has been great every day. I think until I took office, my learning was restricted. I could learn only what was visible to me. When I got in control, it changed the whole dynamics of the industry. And today, with COVID being there, I think the way people look at food, the way people eat, we have to be steadfast in meeting those demands. And that is something we are still working on. Since you're a traditional brand, it's rather quite tricky for us to keep up there because we have to keep the old versus new in mind.
Correct. Personal life. What are your passions outside of food
Yes,
and
I think
business?
personal life, I've always been second son, second child. Always been a little reckless, careless, troublesome. चलेगा, but
You don't really
तो
look like reckless or
मैं बीच में
careless.
था, बड़ा है के छोटा है के, one is doctor, one is engineer, बीच में मैं था. So yeah, I think I had a wonderful childhood. I wouldn't say in terms of money and the luxuries we had, but I had a very nice childhood, playing on the streets, playing on the mud and things like that, and grew up in a way. My studies, I was not very great at, but I went down to not finish my hotel management. I quit in between. It was not my cup of tea. And what I studied for 2 years was what I came into business. Zameen Asman ka farak tha. Then went on to pursue my business management. And then I am an IIM Bangalore alumni as well. So in time, jab zarurat pada, I went back to class. Yes, I did go back. So before I took over and took office in 2018, I went to IIM in 2016. I did a 1-year course on entrepreneurship, on family business, and restaurant design management and analytics. So I learned all of that because I wanted to make sure when you're sitting in that position, you need to know. Because if you're controlling the business, you need to ask the right kind of questions. So that did help. Yeah, so there's a lot of learning that happened with education. But from 2009 is where I started with Empire in my Fraser Town, in our Fraser Town outlet. So I finished graduation, 3 days, exams got done. Dad is like, get it. 1 year I was sent to Dubai. So we have a restaurant that we manage there. So I was there for 3.5 years. Learned a lot by myself, being alone, making a lot of stupid mistakes, getting abused every day now and then. But all that helped. Today I miss all of that. So I think, yeah, my education and personal life, I'm an avid motorsport fan. Yes, just like you. Supercars and sports cars are always a thing for us. And I love playing snooker. I have a table at home. Whenever I get time, I play with my friends.
Snooker is hard. I am just a pool guy.
Pool is being more aggressive. Snooker is more of a gentleman's game, like how you play golf and all this. So I like to unwind playing or going for a simple drive with that noise. So yeah, I'm a very simple man. Otherwise, I like to keep things very simple. I'm a non-fussy person, non-fussy eater.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Anyway, so nice to hear all of these stories from here. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure. I think I wanted to add this in a way that when you came down to Empire, someday I never believed that I would be called to the office to have a podcast with you. So it is an
the privilege is all ours.
Absolute privilege to me as well, and a dream come true also to sit with one of the greatest founders of the country. And for Empire, Swiggy and Zomato, I would mention both because you have been a guiding light for us. I think
Bangalore, you should actually mention Swiggy first.
So. Absolutely. Yes, because they came in first. But it has been a great, sir. I think for me, what I do today, it makes me tremendously happy. And I look forward to my days, whether I have something to do or not to do. So, today I'm more or less free with the system getting more stronger. And, it's allowing me to come and sit with people like you and have a wonderful time. And thank you so much, Zomato. Thank you so much, DP. Wishing you all the best going forward.
Wishing you all the best, because only if you get to where you want to get to, we will get to where we want to get.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Thank you. Thank you so much.